Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. So this is just a really quick one here on the Avatar Legends role-playing game. So currently we are at $7.917 million, meaning that like we're just a few, probably within the next day, we'll get over the 8 million mark. There are only 55 hours to go, but it's likely going to accelerate over the next while. I think Magpie, they just sent out an email saying, only 2 days to go, and I think Kickstarter emails get sent out at like the 48-hour to go mark as well. So it should shoot up with the last batch of people wanting to get on board this, and we'll see where we go from here. But the update that they have posted finally is this one: final stretch goal, all-star actual play video. So yeah, they're closing in on top 10 projects of all time. They're currently 16th. If they can reach $9.2 million, we'll take our spot in the top 10 ahead of some of the biggest tabletop games ever kickstarted. So final stretch goal, all-star play one shot, 8 million. We're going to produce an all-star actual play one shot featuring Satine Phoenix, Becca Scott, and Jenny Kwan. My response to this immediately is like, who, and Suki. Otherwise, it's just like, okay. The single session adventure will feature new characters. Adventure designed by Magpie Games. Special guest or two, so I guess they might try and fit in one more Avatar voice actor. Backers at the Firefired level and above, so I suppose, what's this, any physical tier, get access to this in early 2022 via backer kits, and then the final version will be available for everyone. And then they say this is the last stretch goal, but it's not the last cool thing we're going to do for it. We've got in a few other fun things in approvals with Avatar Studios and Viacom CBS. We don't want to directly tie anything else to funding for the campaign. We'll announce more fun projects and cool opportunities as we get them approved. You'll be the first to hear about them. We'll go into the next bit after this, the global supply issues. But I've got to say, this is an incredibly disappointing announcement for the final stretch goal for me. Given that they did the thing that they did at like, 4 million again, where they didn't have the goal ready to go after we met the last goal, and left it until basically we're pretty much about to hit it to reveal what it actually is. And yeah, it's just, it's just a play of the game. Stuff that other channels out there have been doing with the quick start, and sure, this is going to be, I suppose, be more directed because they're producing it themselves, but I don't think this is a particularly strong addition. Especially with the idea that, like, wait, why couldn't you announce this? Like, I understand, like, these things can get kind of complicated, but already on the campaign, you have linked, down towards the bottom, people playing the game, don't you? Yeah, like, there's a one-shot here, there's a second episode that they did, and so on, and there's loads of other people out there as well. And the people who work on the game are doing YouTube interviews with people and so on. So why do you need to get approval from Viacom just to play your own game? Especially when, like, right now the advertisement is basically that Jenny Kwan's going to be involved, which, unless she's confirmed to be working on an Avatar Studio project, I can't really see any particular reason why you need to get approval to add that in. Now, unless it's just that because it's related to this game and they wanted to use this as a stretch goal, that's the only reason. But like, to wait like 10 days or so to just make that happen, to me feels just so weak. And people in the comments have been saying it as well. So yeah, so we don't actually get a stretch goal. Am I the only one that isn't satisfied by the latest update? I feel the same. That's the goal. And what else do we have here as well? that's this last update is kind of lame. And look, it's a bit weird to see, you know, a lot of defending of this decision by Magpie in the comments about this, in that like minor criticism that like this is a pretty weak final goal should be perfectly valid criticism, but like people are acting like it's, you know, going over the top on Magpie, when look, they've done this campaign really well, but there have been a few issues along the way, and I think stuff like this is kind of one of them. Again, stretching out some of the early stretch goals was a little much, and then this one, obviously, to me, I'm not particularly interested in this. Obviously, I know like keep expectations in check. Like obviously they said there was not going to be any more physical stretch goals, but I think people expected something a little bit different than just something that's basically already part of the campaign, because you already linked videos of people playing the game, so it just doesn't seem all that strong, at least in my opinion. So next part of this update, global supply issues. So again, I'd be a little bit like, why are you waiting until right at the end to say this? Like the second you hit sort of like 2-3 million and were aware that this trend was going to continue and that you were realistically going to get to the 6 and 7 millions, why couldn't you have said that then instead of waiting until like right at the end? Now I get it, they want to make as much on the Kickstarter as possible, and so waiting until the last minute to talk about, you know, the idea of a delay is realistically going to happen, which is basically what this is saying. So potential challenges on the horizon. In short, this campaign has now grown to a size that we are encountering limits on the global paper supply available for printing this many books. Our printer is telling us that there may not be enough cardboard in the United States to print these books on our original schedule. We're ahead of this issue and every other global supply shipping issue because we were working since 2020 to make sure we had everything lined up to send everything to you all on time. But the success is so big, so monumental, that you are all straining the capacity of every printer we're talking to about the new order quantities. What does this mean? We're not sure yet. We're already talking to new printers who work at this scale about finding special sources of materials, and we're still hopeful that we'll ship everything to you in February as planned. We expect to have all the PDFs and prototypes done right on time, but getting such a massive order through printing when there isn't enough cardboard is tough. We want to make sure you all knew early. Early is a little bit like, I get it that like it's early in the sense that they'll be talking about supply issues from basically now until February, but you must have known about this the second you hit a certain point during the campaign. And I think for just the sake of everyone, you should have left it until more than 2 days before the campaign to mention that, oh yeah, we've now passed the point at which it's gotten excessive. And again, they've just hit 65 million backers, 65,000 backers. So you know, you can estimate like roughly how many of books and how much they need to get printed, and so on. But you know, that's fine. They at least have communicated about it, and they're basically saying that the PDFs should be fine for January is what I'm getting from this. So again, physical stuff seems like it's going to be the problem. The other thing to keep in mind is that, yes, because of COVID, shipping stuff is becoming a major problem, and I think especially over Christmas this year it's expected to be even worse. So they have to plan for that as well. And obviously, based on their previous Kickstarters, the expectation would be that there probably will be a delay of some sort. They obviously are at a huge scale at this point. How are they going to manage that when there's been massive problems with their previous ones? This is the thing that, after the success, you know, falls away and we're like, yeah, great, you made X amount of money at the end of it, the pressure is going to be all on them to be like, deliver the stuff that everyone's paid for. And so, you know, at least they're talking about it already. 2 more days left in the campaign. Thank you for being amazing backers. But yeah, there you go. That probably sums it up, this comment here. I won't say disappointed in the stretch goal, but it's definitely not what I'd call exciting. And yeah, it seems like the general idea is that most people are pretty excited about it, or they're just kind of like, okay, that's fine. But again, as the last stretch goal, what a downer to end on, at least for me anyway. Like real, like really kind of suck the air out of the room here with this one. So we'll see how we go with the last sort of 48 hours or so. So yeah, like I said, that's pretty much all there is to talk about in terms of Avatar news at the moment. We're basically just waiting for stuff to happen. Announcements to be made. We'll see what happens. We're still probably a few weeks off learning about if anything's going to happen at New York Comic Con, which I definitely have my doubts. And the whole Avatar Studios, the big things we're looking forward to. I really am getting a little worried at this point that it's going to be quite a while before we hear anything. But there'll probably be some news that kind of happens at some point that sneaks out. So yeah, in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about this final stretch goal, and also the fact that they're immediately sort of bringing up the idea of, like, they've said February, but that it's maybe looking like February might not actually happen. How do you feel about this, and sort of revealing this relatively late in the campaign, a big delay before announcing this final stretch goal, and also only talking about this pretty much right at the end? I know it's here in their risks that the largest problem they've encountered is delays and stuff like that, but specifically in this case, that's the first time they've really done it. So let me know your thoughts there. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.